We do not fit into any strange mold because we are here on earth to leave a mark, positive mark, that is. And today is one of those days that on Open Forum we do what others may just be wondering if it's possible. This is Open Forum with Citizen MKO on Memories 96.5 FM, Uyo, Akwa Ibom State. And on Open Forum, we are about people, issues, ideas, and solutions. And like we always say, that wherever this flag is flown, we take care of our own. We are an ideas bank for development, state, and country building. And more so, we are also a voice to the voiceless and justice accelerators for the oppressed. And talking about the oppressed and vulnerable, last week we had a town hall that was, like our president once said, different from Bala Blue. It was a full house with the people of Ikodokpadin in the Padeni local government area were here, and then leadership of Joint Association of Persons with Disability, chairman of Nigeria Association of the Blind, Akwa Ibom State chapter, and one of their own. They were all here talking about Onodion Hussein, visually impaired, MSc holder, is unemployed. Sika Udo, state chairman, Nigeria Association of the Blind, Akwa Ibom State chapter, and we also had Mr. Edmond Stanley Kandem, Southside coordinator, Joint Association of Persons with Disability. For Ikodokpadin community, we had the chairman, Elder Chief Sunday Akrasi Frank, chairman, Ikodokpadin Village Council, Badenin, local government area, and Elder Soro Peter Kandem, secretary of Ikodokpadin Village Council. We do briefing, or what we call minutes, just highlight before we go into the show. My name is Citizen Matthew Kofi O'Connor, Citizen MKO. I'm a productivity advocate and practitioner. I'm a reformer, president and founder of Open Forum. And one of my slogans is, if I say yes, consider it done. But I'm just an ordinary citizen, but with extraordinary driver patriotism. To give you a brief of what happened last week, the Ikodokpadin issue, we got to know that Ikodokpadin, the school there, the model school there was taken over and used to start off the Akwa Ibom State University, which was University of Science and Technology earlier. And there's no replacement school, so they're looking for replacement. They have found oil in Ikodokpadin. A lot has happened. Sorry, I can't take everything today because I just came from a meeting that showed us that there's something that goes on in communities. If there's no follow-up, you can get things really messed up. I had a meeting this morning with Barrister Jerry Akpan, who was responsible for facilitating that community having water. Amazing water scheme that was never used since 2011. So much to talk about. And there's gas flaring there. I was there myself. I visited the place. It's something else. Water there has been blocked. We are working on it. We are still on it. And very soon you're going to hear us more. And for the persons with disability, there is the Disability Act of 2018 that was signed by the federal government. States have not domesticated it. And Akwa Ibom State is pending. Abia has done it. Cross River has done it. And today, one of the guests that we are supposed to have, who's not here yet, is to be here, one, because he is said to be the lead sponsor for that Disability Rights Act that is talking about Honorable Engineer Uruagabong Epuford, the Honorable Member representing Itinan State Constituency in the Akwa Ibom State House of Assembly. There are other issues he's supposed to address, also having to do with, what do you call it now? Dog meat, don't eat dog meat, or how dogs are killed issue. If he comes today, or maybe we have to rearrange for him to come around, we will treat that matter. But guess what? We are honored, very honored, to have one of the most eminent citizens of Akwa Ibom State, and a global citizen for that matter, as our guest, live studio guest today. And I'm going to introduce him right away before I give us the rundown of what we are going to do today. He's one of those persons I had desired in my life to get close to meet and see how I can tap from his wonderful, amazing reservoir of knowledge, capacity, humility, and result, and fearlessness. I am talking about Professor Akpan Hogan Epo. He is professor of economics and public policy, former vice chancellor, University of Uyo. He's the pioneer vice chancellor of Kwame State University of Science and Technology, now Kwame State University. Former Director General, West African Institute for Financial, Economic and Economic Management, YFM. Former Director, Central Bank of Nigeria. The list is endless. It will take over an hour to read out what this man has been. And he has also been, the committee may have been dissolved now, the chairman of the Akwa Ibom State Post-COVID Economic Reconstruction Committee that came out with the master plan that was adopted, and it is no longer a report, it is a plan. Please permit me to leave other details. Some we get to know as we go on. Let me welcome a man who is a father figure to me and to a number of persons. Professor Akpan Hogan Epo, you are welcome to Open Forum with Citizen MKO.
Thank you very much for having me. And I want to say that we appreciate what you've been doing on the stage for the nation and the globe.
I'm more honored.
It's amazing to be here.
Thank you so very much. I'm most honored. There are stories I reserved for when my memoirs will come out. You'll get to know the first day that I met with Professor Akpan Epo and what transpired. And ever since, I feel blessed. So thank you so very much for being here. I'm going to just do a rundown of what we're going to do, and we'll go straight, because here on Open Forum, we say that every second counts. We try to make this program one of the best, most productive hours or minutes anybody can spend on radio. It's not just a radio program, it's a town hall on radio and online. Talking about online, you can watch us live on Open Forum with Citizen MKO on Facebook. You can also get us on Memories 965 FM on Facebook. And then there's also the YouTube platform. You're streaming live on YouTube, Memories TV online. And wherever you are in the world, there are people outside the country who have been in contact with me, who have been watching us and going to watch this listen to this on Radio Garden. So we are everywhere. The issues we are going to talk about are issues of consequence. And remember, this program is done in support of the Arise Agenda, Happy Hour, Renewed Hope, and whatsoever you think can be done to support any government in power. We are non-partisan. This program is not sponsored by anybody. We are looking for sponsors, yes. We're not sponsored by anybody. We do not play politics. We don't mince words. Here we go. First things first is our thought for food and food for thought. And today, another 7-course meal, 2 for the price of 1. Public policy is a study in imperfection. It involves imperfect people with imperfect information, I'm reading from my phone, so I need to, how these things work. Let me take that again. Public policy is a study in imperfection. It involves imperfect people with imperfect information, facing deeply imperfect choices. So it's not surprising that they are getting imperfect results. Alexandra Ocasio-Cortez. The second is the price good people pay for indifference to public affairs is to be ruled by evil men. Plato. Take that again. The price good people pay for indifference to public affairs is to be ruled by evil men. Plato. That's our thought for food and food for thought. And they are all in line with whatsoever we are going to do today. Don't forget we have on the console the old seller Nifyon Kerwem. He's been our producer and he's been doing a wonderful job. Thank you for always being there for us. And on Critical Conversation today, of first citizenship education and enlightenment, a segment we introduced about 3 weeks ago, we always try to let you know certain things that may help you as a person, and you can add to it. Today we are going to look at why freedom is scary to those who benefit from your chains. why freedom is scary to those who benefit from their chains. We'll try to just read out a beautiful script somebody who doesn't want to be named posted, and I had a talk with him. It will help you. Then on critical conversation, we're supposed to have the Disability Rights Act 2018, government policy on persons with disability in Akwa Ibom State and Nigeria. And then we're also supposed to have insight to Honorable Engineer Udwarabong Epo Fort's motion to discontinue the consumption of dog meats, bases, the methods of slaughter, and his scorecard. And this is a part 2, because we started that conversation last week where I said, yeah, dog meat is eaten here, eaten in some other parts of the world. Even some persons eat snake, eat vultures, others don't. But what concerns even us in open forum is how dogs are slaughtered. Something I have never witnessed. I don't want to even witness it because of what I hear, how it is done. And so we don't throw away a baby with the bath water. I just hope we'll be able to have a Puford with us. If not today, because today I wouldn't have even brought him, but because of trying to get it back to back on Disability Rights Act. And then the one that has brought Prof on open forum are these 2 issues. The Tinubu tax reforms, issues, controversies, and the needs of Nigerians. What do we really need? Tax reforms or other reforms? That's a key issue on the front burner that Prof is going to deal with. And then on the 62nd edition of our stock-taking agenda setting for an Akwa Ibom without oil, part 62. For 62 weeks, we've been generating ideas for Akwa Ibom. Supposing we have a glitch, in fact, we'll be one of the poorest states in the country. A number of people don't know that. So on this edition, we are looking at cutting cost of governance and insight into the Akwa Ibom state government adopted but unimplemented post-COVID-19 economic reconstruction plan. And guess who we are having? The man that presided over that very committee. He is here. We couldn't have brought another person on this. Yes, we've hosted the secretary. Secretary was Professor Emmanuel Umudoke. He was here. And you can imagine the extent we went to. But now we have the chairman. And so, without wasting time, I want to take the Citizenship Education and Enlightenment very fast, and then we go to discussion for the day. Like I've told us, the focus today is why freedom is scary to those who benefit from your chains. Social media means a whole lot to some of us, and for me in particular. One Jacob Mbodidem Udo is on a platform called Niger Delta WhatsApp group, which I belong. He wrote this, and I quickly chatted him up. He said he's a very reserved person. He doesn't want his name to go with that article, but I'm free to use it. It's a chat, so I have it. Listen to this. The one who benefits from your weakness will never celebrate your strength. Freedom is scary to those who benefit from your chains. Freedom is not always welcomed. Many people think everyone celebrates growth, but the truth is different. When you begin to change, think for yourself, or set boundaries, not everyone will be happy. Some people are comfortable when you are quiet, obedient, and dependent on them. Your freedom disturbs that comfort. Not all chains are visible. Some chains are made of fear, culture, religion, guilt, or the belief that you must please others to be accepted. Sometimes these chains are passed down as tradition, in quote, or disguised as love and concern. When you start questioning them, people may say you are proud, rebellious, or ungrateful. In reality, you are simply waking up. Those who benefit from your silence often fear your voice. When you were small, they felt important. When you depended on them, they felt powerful. So when you begin to stand on your own, they may resist, discourage you, or try to pull you back. Not because you are wrong, but because your freedom changes the balance. Freedom also requires courage. It means accepting that not everyone will clap for you. Some will misunderstand you. Some will speak badly about you. Others will pretend to support you while hoping you fail. This is the price of growth. Staying chained may keep peace with people, but it steals peace from your soul. True wisdom is knowing what to do. I take that again. True wisdom is knowing that you do not owe anyone the sacrifice of your future just to keep them comfortable. You are allowed to grow. You are allowed to choose differently. You are allowed to outgrow places, habits, and relationships that no longer serve you. The one who benefits from your weakness will never celebrate your strength. Freedom may cost you approval, but it will give you dignity. And dignity is worth more than chains. Jacob embodied them Udo. It's difficult to get quotes, difficult to make sense. When some persons, even in very high places, talk, you discover that you are in trouble. You are in trouble. So I believe this will serve somebody. It's not everything that can be talked about, and we just leave it at that. Remember last week, we ended a 2-part series of image, keeping a good image of the government and leaders. And while we finished that, something happened which we can't talk about today, but we must note. You recall that the Speaker of the State House Assembly, Right Honorable Demotong, made a statement that he has the ticket of the 26 members of the House in his pocket. And we have heard reactions. It's only one that really thrilled me. Somebody defended him that he is right to say it. In politics, you must tell people that you are in charge, so that nobody should blame him. Politics is not a negotiation and showing strength. But some others have said it was a joke, and they tried to play it down. And I feel sorry, because those people are likely not helping the matters, because Demotong has not withdrawn his statement, and there's no likely of an impeachment being worked on. A newspaper today, this morning, the Post newspaper of Friday, 26 December, that's going to end on 26, is a weekly paper, has a report here, which I don't know, we must confirm this, that no regret over what I said, 26 constituency ticket in my pocket with Demotong. If that is displayed for those who are online, if this is true, we need to have a family talk, because if you know what leadership is all about, there are people who are worshiping a particular leader, and the leader's body language has formed part of their faith. The things they saw him do has been documented, and they act on it. And if you get to know some of those things, you will know why you must be able to defend yourself, because there are things that are said and done in this world that borders on absurdity. And this is not good for us as a people, because investors will not have confidence if things are done with impunity. Having said that, here we go. Charity, they say, begins at home. Prof.
Yes, sir.
You are welcome, sir.
Thank you.
Sorry, we have a number of segments in open
That's
forum,
okay.
so we try to keep the tradition, but we know that we're going to get the best of time from you, and if we can, in fact, we can even exhaust things. But if you also find time, we can always rearrange to have you again. But let's start from home. You've been a lot as a private person. You were in the university. As a lecturer, you became the vice chancellor. You became, you were appointed to serve the state. I recall you started Akikop. You also started Akwa State University of Science and Technology. I recall, I think before these ones, you served at a level, at the federal level, under the Abacha regime, and Central Bank, and you then moved to YFM. Let's just put some of these things like a fruit, like something we can just take like a capsule. At all those levels that you served, which of them was very challenging to you? You have capacity, but were you challenged at any point among all these places you've been to?
Thank you very much. The usual challenges anywhere you find yourself. Okay, but I would say there are two areas where I felt that the challenge was a little bit enormous.
Where were those?
One was when I was the chairman of the Ministerial Advisory Committee, Federal Ministry of Finance in Abuja, under the leadership of Etubum, Anthony Ani.
Okay. That was under the Abacha regime.
Yes. It was a military
Yes.
leadership.
Yes.
And the advisory committee consisting of 5 economists. I was the chairperson or chairman. We were supposed to see how we can rejig the economy, because at that time all the macro fundamentals were moving the wrong direction.
Okay.
And we were implementing the social adjustment program,
okay,
which wasn't bringing any benefit to the masses. And it was very challenging, okay, because you had external forces like the IMF, the World Bank, intervening that we should still sustain SAP, and the impact was very negative.
Negative.
Yes, at that time, the inflation rate was almost 70%. Unemployment was very high. Cost of funds very high, about 27%, and so on and so forth. So Anthony, the minister, did a lot of worked very hard, assembled this team.
Yes.
It was challenging to convince the IMF, World Bank as to the approach we want to use. I want to say that the president then, General Abacha, actually allowed Anthony to run the economy without interference.
Beautiful.
At the presidential level, there's a late Professor Sam Aluko, was in charge of
I remember him.
Intelligence. And at the ministry level, we were in charge. It was challenging. And then we had to craft, through the minister's guidance, we had to craft a concept called guided deregulation. We had to convince the IMF, World Bank, that the Nigerian government, the state, has to be involved in the economy in order to rescue us from the crisis. We engaged serious groups to do some studies. For example, we had to we had to put the exchange rate within a band.
Yes.
Say 80, 82. Okay? And when we implemented that, inflation rate dropped to single digit, and it was called the Abacha miracle. Very challenging, because we had opposition from the elite group, those that want to capture the state, and so on and so forth. But 1994 to 1999, most of the macro fundamentals started moving in the right direction. You will check the records.
Now, I wish it's something I can just allow you go on, but I want to say this. A lot of people have negative image of Abacha, but the same people have given it to him that having to do with the economy, that Nigeria was a pariah state at that time, that the economy was so well run, and for those who were not aware, you and others were behind the Abacha miracle. Now, juxtapose that with what has been going on, even under civilian administration, where you find the kind of inflation, the kind of hardship in the economy, in fact, losing track, and we are trying to do tembo without studies, without planning. Can there be a policy without a plan? Because we hear people talk about reform, just because this announcement has been made over a thing. Is that possible?
Well, most countries have leapfrogged into growth and development, have had plans which they implement meticulously. All of them.
Must have plans.
Yes, China, India, Indonesia, Malaysia, they have development plans, and they follow it. They implement it almost 95%. You see, we've had plans in Nigeria, to be honest, but the military government of Babangida truncated the plans, because he was advised by the Bretton Woods Institution, IMF, World Bank, that there's no need for planning. that when you plan, you are going to build socialism. And so plan was truncated, and then we now started doing things ad hoc. And then they brought in SAP.
Yes.
When they now saw fiscal rascality in the executive branch of government, they introduced medium-term fiscal framework, from which you had medium-term expenditure framework.
Interesting. I'm just getting to know how it started.
That is how
the MTEF.
Yes. So MTEF was meant to be a medium-term framework, looking at the revenue expenditure of government in order to bring some sanity. It wasn't really a plan. Unfortunately, it has become a plan because MTF now covers everything.
That's true.
They call it MTF and physical sanity paper.
But meanwhile, Prof,
Yes.
Is it even working? It doesn't seem to work, even at state levels. It's just a matter of a ritual that,
yes.
You have MTF.
Yeah.
Is it being followed?
Well, at the national level, if we had followed our development plans,
Yes.
if they were passed into law, MTF will become useless.
That's right.
Because the development plan is much more embracing, covers the entire economy.
Absolutely.
And even your yearly budget will derive from that plan.
Let's come back on, Prof.
Yes, so, but at home now,
yes.
Not just Akwa Ibom State, most states, and I did this for some states in Nigeria. MTF in some states, in my view, I've challenged the World Bank, IMF on that. It's really not necessary. You know why? MTF is anchored on a robust macroeconomic framework. Okay, a macroeconomic framework involves two aspects, at least two broad aspects: monetary and fiscal. Okay, I don't want to go into details, but
yes.
State governments have no input at the monetary side. Monetary policy is essentially federal government, the central bank. So how do you now do MTF at the state level? You're going to hold the monetary side constant. The fiscal side stays to do because they get revenue, they spend. But the monetary side, they have no input. So it becomes just an exercise, a routine.
What would be your recommendation to address this anomaly?
Is that the state government, all of them should have development plans.
That's right.
At least minimum 5-year development plan, okay? That will incorporate all aspects of the state economy, okay? Will address all aspects, okay? So even the yearly budget, the capital component of that budget will derive from the development plan. For example, recently, Abia State, our neighbor,
yes,
the government signed into law a 25-year development plan. Lagos State, which we admire, they have 30-year development plan.
Absolutely.
You now use 5 years to implement.
That's right.
Gombe has it.
Borno State has it.
Borno State has it. Anambra. That's the way to go.
Prof,
yes.
Your committee,
yes.
talking about the Akwa Ibom post-COVID reconstruction committee, made that recommendation. Open Forum had a town hall meeting. We made that recommendation. But what do you think is the problem with Akwa Ibom State, as gifted as we are, with leaders that have been given accolades?
Yes.
What is wrong that having a long-term plan to do away with political slogans that are being used just for hyping?
Yes. See, in fairness, there is a misunderstanding about what plan is and what it's supposed to do. But also, to be more concrete, the present governor,
yes,
Pastor Dr. Moino, has brought the idea of having a development plan.
Beautiful.
And I'm aware that process is on.
Awesome.
Okay. The idea is to fast track it. I'm aware that process is on.
That's good.
At least a 5-year development plan. Because if we have that, you will know what comes to your area.
That's
know
right.
what comes to my area in the next 5 years, at least. And then you follow it. You make allowance for, let me use the word disruption, because the world is dynamic. Things will change.
Yes.
But as I said earlier, every country that has grown remarkably, leapfrogged, they follow a plan.
Talking about plan.
So once you have that plan,
yes,
MTF disappears.
Naturally, it should, because it's just a ritual that holds no water.
They don't even follow it. If you look at the MTF, MTF says, for example, if you have MTF 26 to 28,
yes,
the capital component for this year should derive from the previous one. When you compare,
it doesn't.
It doesn't
yes.
tally.
And talking about plan, you are what I call it technical committee. Yes, it was the post-COVID economic reconstruction committee came out with a report, about 100 and something page.
142 pages.
142 page report, and that a committee was set up to come out with a white paper, which was also done, which means that it has become a plan. You know more than any other person should. As a layman and being informed, we've not seen the implementation. You may correct me, but if there was implementation to an extent, or if there was no implementation, what do you think happened to the work of your committee?
Well, let me say this. The committee was in 2 phases. The first committee was a 20-member committee that came out with a 142-page report with recommendations. and had short-term, medium-term, long-term plan for the state,
Yes.
aspirations. And then later, the then governor,
Emmanuel,
also put in place what he called implementation committee.
Yes.
I was also the chairman of that committee. We now selected some key areas that need to be implemented. Unfortunately, when he left government, in my view, none was implemented at that time. Okay, but for some reason, the present government of Pastor Dr. Umoino, some of the elements of our report, okay, some of the elements of our report are now part of the Arise agenda. Whether it's by default or not, I don't know. But again, Umoino the governor was part and parcel of that COVID committee.
Okay.
He came in and made presentation. So some aspects, as I said, for example, now they are now involved in putting in place a development plan, which came out of our recommendation. And the whole idea of the health system, for example, which we recommended, some aspects have been put in place. Agric is seen as a major sector because in our state here, we can industrialize through agric, not necessarily through manufacturing.
That's right.
For example, we have cassava all over the place. We can have a starch industry. So in that report, we then said, long term, this state must diversify its economy. We can't depend on federal allocation because federal allocation also depends on the oil revenue.
Yes.
And oil revenue is not sustainable in the long term.
That's right.
Because the price of oil you have no control over. The output, no control, is OPEC. So you cannot depend on what we call an exogenous source of revenue. So if the federal government gets the revenue and they share, it will not work. So for the state to get out of being a civil service state, we can industrialize through agric. It doesn't mean that we ignore manufacturing, but right. Agric will be the main source because the whole place is full of agric products. In fact, in our report, we took each agric item, crop, and showed what is the problem, how we can solve it, and so on and so forth. Each, including local crops. And I think the present government, for what I've been reading,
yes,
they're taking agric serious. But agric has also a gestation period. Maybe going forward, we'll see some positive results. But for now, we just have to wait. So the report, to a large extent, has not been implemented up to, say, 60%. Okay?
Oh, that would have been wonderful. Even cross, I was thinking of maybe 10%.
So either by default, because Pastor Mono's government has been, for example, the MRO at the airport.
Yes.
It's in our report. It's been worked on. The issue of the health system.
Yes.
It's been worked on. All of these things, we'll look at the impact later on, whether it has given us positive results. Okay? Because, see, a lot of times in governance, what you have is propaganda. And government is very powerful to push propaganda.
That's a bad one.
They will talk about the issue of mindset in our report. Mindset. We have to change our mindset.
That's right.
In the state. In fact, it's what one governor, I think, Akwa Semen, called structural mental adjustment. That's correct. We had that. If you don't change the mindset, nothing will move. Okay? Then the state has to have strategic industries. For example, Governor Atta started the ICT park.
Yes.
The science park. All governments have been ignoring that park. In fact, Udo Emmanuel tried to revive it, then COVID came and it stopped. So, and I think Pastor Mano has a different approach. But we need to do it because when I saw what was going on in Anambra, I was taken aback because this state has been at the forefront of it for a long time.
Talking about being on the forefront of certain things,
yes.
It's difficult to do this in one episode.
Yeah.
His Excellency, the father of modern Akwa Ibom,
yes.
Obong Victor Atta, made a statement that thrilled me just a few days ago.
Yes.
He talked about the MRO, why the federal government should adopt it as the hub for West Africa.
Yes.
He also said something very striking because we in Open Forum, we have worked on a number of things.
That's true.
One, Ibom Power Company. That power company has issues. Sometimes people try to play around with words and propaganda sets in and even bring out the truth. People feel that, oh, why is he talking like this? Abongota says that Ibom Power should not be privatized. And we have a number of issues, how some persons are trying to do somersault, abracadabra here and there. Now, you started Akikop, which is the Akipok. It was Akipok then, turned to Akikop.
Yes.
What would be your recommendation on some of these, particularly like Ibom Power Company that Obongota has spoken about?
I'm glad you raised the issue because Akipok established Ibom Power Company under the leadership of Obong Victor Atta, because we felt that without power, you can't go anywhere. In fact, research shows that if you increase power supply by 1%, GDP of the economy will increase by 3.5%. So we started the Ibom Power Company under Obong Atta's leadership. And by the time Obong Atta left, that project was 80% completed. Okay? The problem then was, and Atta fought very hard, that why should we generate into the national grid? They now give us some. We should be able to do everything.
That's right.
He fought that struggle until he left. But recently, as you are aware,
that has been achieved.
They moved power to a concurrent list.
Absolutely.
So this state has no excuse not to have 24-hour power supply.
That is true.
And you will see small and medium-scale businesses thriving, even new ones being started because you need power.
Yes.
Why there's a constraint, honestly, I do not know, because I know that the government that came after Governor Atta did not take it serious, to be honest. Okay. Did not take it serious at all. We were the first to have a power company in the federation, except the Enron issue in Lagos State.
Lagos State.
Yes. And we invested a lot of money. We even had external aid, external loan.
Yes.
I remember I brought some of my friends from Afro-Exim Bank. The recently outgoing Afro-Exim Bank president at that time was a program manager also. He's a very close friend of mine. We brought him here, and they gave us some money for the Ibom Power.
Yes.
We brought in a Global Egg from UK. Went very far. And we went to China to get turbines. So, if any state should have power supply 24 hours, it should be Akwa Ibom. So I'm glad that the current governor I've read has revisited the issue. And I heard about the controversies, and I said, look, they should look for the experts, the people who were involved in that project. For example, Professor Okonansa was involved in that project.
Professor Okonansa.
Vice Chairman was involved in that project. Clement Isok was involved in that project. And they all were reporting to Akipok, which I was chairman. But all of a sudden, they ignored the experts, and then it became, in my view, became a disaster. Luckily, this current government is trying to revive it. I read that they had an energy summit. Which is okay, but we don't need to spend much money on this
talking.
Yes, we should just address the issue so that we can have power, all over the state.
Well, if you are tuning in, this is Open Forum with Citizen MKO, and we are on Memories 96.5 FM in New York, and we are honored to have a very eminent, one of the best brains when it comes to economy, globally respected Professor Akpan Hogan Epo with us, and the things we are talking about is so deep. And being that Open Forum is an ideas bank, we want to let you know that we have done a series on Ibom Power. To the extent that we've done a press conference, we've sent letters to His Excellency. Why? Because a company that is also a contractor was given the contract to audit Ibom Power, and we raised alarm. And that company submitted its report. The staff there reacted that the company never even came to Ibom Power to do audit. The report was submitted, and we were wondering, is it possible to give an auditing job to a contractor who is also an interested party? We are on it, and we have facts. We have information. That's why we try to make it available to the governor. We write, we do memos, we send privately, we talk with some persons. Unfortunately, some persons would rather want things to go on through propaganda. We don't do that. And so you are hearing that from us. We cannot go on with that conversation, but the truth of the matter is Obawanta has spoken, and we are going to do more on that as well as on other industries, because Akikop is unlike Akipok. Then we have even raised issues with the current budget where it has been given about 31 or so billion capital, and we have said, what does Akikop do? We've asked the governor to audit the services, what they have been doing, because most of the industries have failed, and they are failing, and we are running a series which we will not hold back. It's not easy to get Prof because he's very busy, and we've done so much on that. We want to go to the national, talking about the tax law that was controversial when it came. So we're going to take this in 3 bits. First, Prof, does Nigeria need a tax law as was started by Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu? Let's leave the controversies. I'm going to ask that separately. The tax law came, Northerners kicked against it, some concessions were made, and it was eventually passed by the House and signed into law. Looking at that level, forget about this controversy, we'll come to that. Is that what Nigeria needs, or we need other forms of reforms before we will have gotten to a tax reform?
Well, you see, any economy needs reform from time to time, okay? Definitely, one such reform can be the tax system, okay? Taxation is crucial, okay, in any economy. It's crucial. For Nigeria, the reason why we've ignored taxation or taxes is because oil brings in a lot of money.
Yeah.
And people have ignored taxation in the sense that those who should pay tax have not been paying. So it's not the issue of increasing the tax rate, it's to expand the tax net. Okay?
Yes.
And what are we taxing? So there was nothing wrong in instituting a tax reform committee to look at the taxation.
Yes.
But the outcome is the issue. Okay? Because in any economy, the tax system has to be progressive.
But look at Nigeria.
Yes.
The poverty level,
yes,
with the present situation, and people are saying, do you tax the poor? Has any economy made it through taxation?
No, you see, you cannot tax the poor, and taxation has its limit. After a while, if you keep taxing, the economy will not grow.
Look at Nigeria's situation.
Yes.
What would have been your recommendation?
Well, you see, for me, there are several aspects. First, I will lower drastically the company income tax, okay, in order to encourage investors.
Okay.
Okay. I will also discourage increase in VAT, because the VAT tax is regressive. The rich man and the poor man goes to the market and they buy same type of thing at the same price.
That's right.
So it's regressive. Okay. I will not encourage any increase in VAT. Okay. I will also make sure that those at the poor level and middle income level don't even pay tax, because see, nothing wrong in paying tax, but are you getting the service delivery?
Absolutely.
That's the issue. Nigerians pay tax but don't get service delivery.
Good.
Then I will leave on the taxation issue to subnational governments.
Beautiful.
Yes.
Being that this is supposed to be a federation,
yes,
and not a unitary state.
Exactly.
Now, because of time, we want to go straight to point the controversies.
Yes.
The first was that France was being brought in to be the ones responsible to provide AI audit, automated compliance, real-time analytics, cyber security tools for Nigerian government to get taxes. And experts, let me say so, interest groups raised alarm that why must you hand over your entire economy and that has to do with also security to another sovereign country? Now, is that a threat? You are an expert.
Yeah.
What is your take on that controversy before we get to the latest controversy?
In fact, it is highly embarrassing that we can sign an MOU with a tax agency, government agency in France. It means that we are handing over our entire data, okay,
that's right,
to a foreign country. I read a book called A New Scramble for Africa, France is losing a lot of its colonies. So
Absolutely.
trying to come back the back doorway. That means that your BVN, my
Everything.
BVN, NIN, all those data have been given to the French agency. There's nothing technical about the MOU. The Nigerian firms who can do capacity building for the tax people, for Nigerian tax or whatever I call it now, the name will change in January. So that MOU is highly embarrassing.
And the recommendation should be that it should be cancelled.
It should be cancelled, and then I don't think it was even discussed in the House.
It was not. And
so by the time you hand over your entire data to another sovereign country, the House of Assembly has a right to look at it, address it, get comments from experts, and so on and so forth. I don't think that was done.
For your information, that very MOU was signed on the 10th of December at the French Embassy.
Yes.
And it has raised dust. The greatest dust being raised now has to do with what Representative Dasuki from Sokoto State raised alarm on the floor of the House of Representatives that he has seen the gazetted copy of the tax law, it is different from that was signed into law by Mr. President, and not only him. Daily Trust newspaper has seen it and confirmed and has quoted the differences. Now, we want to open the phone lines. What is your take that there was not just illegality, some have called it criminal alteration, forgery, by whatsoever name? I don't want to say it is not true because it has been brought to the public. We don't have to wait until it goes to court before you say, oh, who has brought this to court? As an expert, as a consultant to World Bank, you've been to different countries of the world. What is your take? It just doesn't have to be legal matter alone. As an economist, is it possible that a document that the people, through their representatives, agreed on is altered by a few persons in the executive and still be a law?
Well, let me say that, tax issues, even though they have economic, socio-economic implications, tax issues are heavily legal matters. They are laws that are back there. I think this matter should be thoroughly investigated, okay? If it is true, it is embarrassing. After a law has been passed, some people, some elites who have captured the state now go and change the law. If it is true, it needs thorough investigation. If it is true, those involved should pay the consequence. Because it doesn't make sense. And let me say that, not that I agree with all aspects of the new tax law, but at least if the law has been passed, gazetted, and altered, then there's a problem.
Which means there must be suspension from the January 1 takeoff date.
Yeah, to investigate it properly, you cannot implement the new law in January. You have to investigate this matter thoroughly.
That's right.
To get results, and then before you begin to implement. But let me say the new tax law, there's exemption for those who are at a lower income.
Yes.
And taxation is like this. You have to declare. You declare your income before they impose a tax on you. So in most countries, even the rich, they are careful in taxing the rich because at a certain level of income, if you tax the rich so high, they use the money for something else and not invest into the economy.
That's true. Insightful. The phone line for you to call in is 0803 085 7755, or you call 0809 066 6909 to share your thought on the issues we have discussed. Please, let's not bring in a new issue. We are privileged to have a global citizen, Professor Akpan Hogan Ekpo, and he has given insight that the government of the state and beyond need, and we just hope we'll be able to make this available as much as possible for the world to know. Do we have a caller on the line? So, the essential thing is that we have dealt with certain things that needed to be dealt with. But open forum, like I said, Your Excellency, let me call you Excellency. We are more excellent than even excellencies. Stock taking and agenda setting for an Akwa Ibom without oil. What, in your thoughts, will be some of the things that the state government should do, not to be dependent on allocation and like the money, the windfall that we've been saying that there's so much money. Thank God Pastor Mano does not take loans. We give that to him because some other person We will be taking loans when we're getting all these monies and telling us stories, and they remember the Mpoibara era in the midst of even trillions. So what would be your recommendation on the way forward so that these industries, these investments can yield? Because for now, they don't yield.
Yeah, because as I said, so this thing takes time. You can industrialize through agriculture because it is.
I think we have a caller.
It's replaceable.
A lucky caller. Hello, your name and where you're calling from?
Hello. Good afternoon, sir.
Yeah, good morning.
Good morning, program. Good morning. Good to have you.
We can't hear you. Move away from your radio set, please.
Okay. My name is Henry.
Go ahead. We can't hear your name, but go ahead.
I'm calling from
Sorry, we can't take you. We can't hear you. We cannot hear you clearly. Sorry, Prof. Let's just take your parting shot because time is.
We will build agri, and then the state should also concentrate on human capital development. We should allow our people to acquire skills. Luckily, the present government seems to be doing that, and then we should look at the health of our people. Okay, and then we should work on changing the mindset. We should use the mindset. Especially, we should develop the youths in the state. The youths in the state are very talented, innovative, but they have to be given the opportunity to excel. We have a huge youth population.
Yes.
And in my view, they're not being used. In fact, if we diversify the state, okay, politics becomes secondary.
Yes.
Okay.
The issue of mindset.
Yes.
Sorry, we don't have much time.
Yes.
We cannot take calls, please.
Okay.
Yeah. We have a thriving industry in the state, and I can say that without mincing words. Praise singing, propaganda, blackmail. It is so challenging that even some persons in very high level see that as being a gift. It's something that can bring you to the table, which means it's not the problem of the youth, it's the problem of leadership.
Yes.
What would be your recommendation, maybe in 30 seconds, so that we don't have this issue that if you speak out like we do, some people classify us as being attacking government not conforming, not supporting, because you should be singing.
In fact, what you are doing is to keep government on its toes, to do the correct thing.
That's right.
There's only you left as psychophancy.
Psychophancy. That's the word.
Yes. So all leaders in
that's the industry.
State, governor and the rest should be aware of psychophants. Okay? The way to change that is constant education, awareness that you don't need to do these negative activities. And that's why we're not making progress.
And people should not be rewarded for doing that.
For doing that. The pull him down syndrome does not make sense.
Thank you so very much. We've been blessed to have, I just hope he's not calling to the program. We have another senior citizen calling my line. Maybe he wants to contribute, but we don't have the time. I want to thank distinguished Professor Akpan Hoganepu for sparing his from his task schedule to be here with us. And he has done justice to the issues. But I had appealed to him privately. I'm going to do that once again outside to see when we can bring him back, because there are certain things we need to spend time to do. This is the size of the program. My name is Citizen Matthew Kofi O'Connor. I am just a productivity advocate and practitioner. And we need support to run this program. And next week, we are going to come back with definite things that will add value. And meanwhile, our leaders, when you get our letters, please respond, because someday, we are going to bring this to the world, and the record will speak that if government or individuals responded or not. See you in our next